Welcome, and thank you for joining us. You are listening to the Beyond 50 radio program. I'm Daniel Davis. On the program today, we're going to be talking with a lovely young lady that's been making a name for herself as the Rolling Raw Vegan Guru. She's a host of her own popular TV show along with a diet program called Superfoods on the Roll, Getting America Healthy. She's joining us here on the Beyond 50 radio program, also as author of the book, The Raw Truth to the Fountain of Youth. I'd like to welcome to the program today our guest, Miss Debbie Merrill. Debbie, thank you for joining us here on the program today.
Oh, thank you so much. And who do I have the pleasure with speaking with?
Now, I got to ask you a question here. What made you start with roller skates?
Well, hold on one second. I just wanted to know who I was talking with.
This is Daniel Davis.
Daniel, okay, that's what I thought you were saying. Well, thank you so much, Daniel. And they call me the Veggie Vegan Diva, teaching the world the Veggie Vegan Diva. So catch it, honey. What did I start with? I started with ice skating. I was a professional figure skater, and I loved the outdoors. I loved nature. I loved life. I loved picking fruits and vegetables off trees, and I thought, God, if I could only skate outside. So I started skating in an outdoor rink in Yonkers, New York, called Murray's Ice Rink, and then in Manhattan, I taught at Wellman and Sky Rink in Central Park. Then I gave up my blades for the wheels, and I went to the beach, and I said, oh, my God, I got to skate on the ocean. This is like ice skating on the ocean. So I strapped on my blades, and I started teaching rollerblading. And because the wind in your hair, nature, the sun, the stars, the moon, I skate at night sometimes too, and the mountains was like a rolling meditation for me. So I started doing it. People started watching what I was doing, wanted what I had, and I transferred the ice figure skating moves to rollerblading, and I called it figure blading. And I started teaching rollerblading. And that's what I did for a job when I first moved to California, as well as being an actress and a waitress and telemarketing and a health educator and the millions of things you do when you live in L.A. So I hope that answers your question.
It absolutely does. Now tell us, you got into raw foods. Now what was the reason for that? And describe what raw foods actually are.
I'm going to be totally honest. Open and willing here. I got into being a vegetarian strictly because I was addicted to sugar, white flour, coffee, smoked cigarettes, did recreational fun things, drank alcohol, and I thought if I became a vegetarian, I would get healthier. And I had bad acne. In my book, I have a whole chapter on things I overcame through the raw food diet, actually became my own natural-born healer and healed myself. Just like the lungs of the planet in the Amazon where all the answers are, the answers for me were in becoming a vegetarian, giving up the overconsumption of animals, sugar, processed foods, and preservatives. I overcame, Daniel, things like hepatitis, constipation, chronic bloating, gas, hormonal problems, low blood sugar, acne, candida, anemia, amenorrhea, like I said, poor diet, and insomnia, menopause symptoms, female symptoms, osteopenia, stress fractures in my legs. I kept tearing cartilages in my knees, irritable bowel. I had everything. And the main thing, I didn't feel good. I was a figure skater with a fat figure. I also, in the process of going vegetarian, lost 20 pounds. So I had a fat figure, and I had no energy, and I couldn't jump. I couldn't do the moves that the girls my age were doing, and I was a bit older anyway. I started late. In this day and age, you got to start when you're 7. I started at 12, so by the time I was 17, I was behind, and I had a big behind. So I became a vegetarian, and living in Manhattan, it was very easy because there were so many, macrobiotic and vegan and healthy restaurants. I used to actually binge in vegetarian restaurants and health food stores, and I thought, well, at least I'm eating a bag of sunflower seeds. That's okay, and carrots. But I was overeating, too. It's not so much of what you eat, but how much you eat. I really believe in my book, I wrote, food should be weighed, counted, and measured. I have a fabulous food plan, which I call my Raw Truth to the Fountain of Youth Food for Life plan. Like, how much do you eat? And especially with small, petite women, or actually anybody, men, women, children, we just overeat. We don't know. I didn't know what a portion size was. I didn't know that 4 ounces of protein was enough, or, a cup of milk, or 4 dates, or 2 tablespoons of almond butter, a quarter of an avocado. You know, there's measurements that work for me now, which is why my body is lean, keen, and more serene, I'll tell you that. Letting go of all that sugar and white flour and processed preservative foods really gave me clarity, calmed me down, gave me a full self-expression of creativity, a better athletic body, and more energy now than when I was 20. I'll tell you, I wish I had the energy now. I wish I had the body of now and the energy that I have now back then. Like I have the body I want, but I didn't have the energy I wanted when I was 20.
Interesting. Now,
and one of my wishes is for our listeners is really that they just try eating more raw foods, because they'll find that, you know, this raw on the roll system, it really works if you let it seep into your conscious, your spirit, and your mind, just for a fleeting moment. Just take a chance, and they will achieve great success in their health. It definitely works. If you work it and if you're willing. Like I met a woman last night in a health food store, and she bought my book right there in the store because of, she said, I'm raw, but I'm only 2% raw. And I said, great, you're 2% raw. That's fabulous. I was 2%, and then I went to 3, and then I went to 5, and then I went to 10 and 20 and 80, and I sat at 80 for like 7 years. And then I did a cable show here in California called Raw on the Roll with a very good friend of mine, Don Kitson. I call him the godfather of raw. He's been raw for about, 30 years. And I had guests on like David Wolf, Paul Nissan, Doug Graham, Gabriel Cousins, all the leaders, and they taught me a lot. Giuliano, and they taught me a lot. And I learned, and I listened, and I read, and I went to lectures, and I said, you know what, I'm going to try this raw thing. And somebody challenged me and said, why don't you eat raw food just for one day? And in my book, I have a contract that you sign with yourself, and it says, just for one day, I will eat nothing cooked, and I will exercise an hour doing something I love. And I signed it. And I kept my commitment for that day, because I really believe that continuity and commitment enhances success. In skating, it worked, so it had to work with my health and my diet. So I tried it, and I felt better after one day. And I thought, you know what, I'm going to try 2 days, and then 3 days. And before you know it, I had 30 days. And they say if you can do anything for 27 days or 30 days, you can do it for a lifetime. You know, I really believe this raw program was a solution to every single problem I had. And I kept it simple. You know that slogan, KISS, keep it simple, sweetheart? Mm-hmm. I just kept it real simple. I put my food in glass jars and, at the time, Tupperware. I took it with me, and there was Cafe Honda, Raw on the Roll, and I just went out about my day. And I taught my skating lessons. And I think it worked for me, too, also because I love fruits and veggies and being outdoors in nature. When you're surrounded more in nature, in a raw environment, it's easier to be raw because I wasn't in a toxic place like bars or fast food restaurants, shopping malls. Even though I go to bars to sing karaoke nowadays, but I'm not in there drinking and smoking. I'm in there singing and dancing. So that's how I got started. I became a vegetarian. Then I became a macrobiotic, which is eating some fish and cooked fruits and foods in season, lots of seaweed, brown rice and beans. And I love that. That was great. That held me for a long time, helped me get rid of my sugar addiction and my addiction to junk food. Then I became a vegan. But then I used to rotate back and forth with some milk, some dairy, some eggs, and I played with that for a couple of years. And then when I came to L.A., I thought, I got to get really clean. This is California, you know, hippies and health food. Mm-hmm. So I gave up the cigarettes, and I gave up the milk and the dairy and the cheese and the eggs, and I became a vegan. Oh. Sat there for a while, then did the cable show for 2 years, and that's probably one of my students calling. Or one of the people that just bought my book last night, she called and I said, listen to the show. So she's going to be listening, so I apologize for the beep. Actually, I call it God calling. So good orderly direction, good outdoors. Anyway, so then I became a raw vegan, and I just loved how I felt. I loved my body. it was an instruction for me to find myself, to go back inward. I have a whole chapter in my book called From Raw to Richness, where actually this journey to raw, I expected the unexpected and accepted the expected. Miracles happened. And I always tell people, if you don't believe in miracles, come and be one. I just wanted to leave that girl that I was in the past, and I wanted to ditch that angry, unhealthy, sad, insecure figure skater with acne and broken fingernails, losing my hair, and I just wanted to go somewhere, Daniel. I didn't know where, but I just wanted to fix the inside, or I didn't even know I had an inside, but I knew I needed to be fixed, and I found raw food, and I really believe that, through finding raw food, I found my higher spirit, and through finding my higher spirit, I found raw foods. And it was a definite coincidence.
Now, Debbie, I was going to say that in your book, The Raw Truth to the Fountain of Youth, you talk about 10 superfoods. First of all, what are superfoods, and what are the 10 that you outline in your book? Okie dokie.
Well, superfoods, I love that question because I live on them. Superfoods are exactly that, super. They're superpower, they're super nutrients, they're super enzymes, they're high in energy and B12 and vitamins and minerals and calcium and all the great things we need, and all of the things that we lose in a regular diet because of the processing, the shipping, the freezing, or the preservatives they use. Sometimes foods are frozen, heated, or cooked, and they lose their enzymes. And because a lot of people ask me, and I'll go down the list of the superfoods, like they ask me, what is raw food? Well, raw food is exactly that. It's raw, uncooked, unheated, untreated food. And it maintains its life force, which gives us life and energy. Dead food is dead force, death and no energy. So I eat live food, so I get life force and live energy. One of my favorite superfoods, the 10 of them I list in my book, and sometimes they change, are spirulina, wheatgrass, organic raw maca, organic raw cacao. Some people don't eat it, which is fine. You could do carob powder or you could do without it. For me, it works fine, Daniel, because I only do a tablespoon. I don't go crazy on chocolate, and I don't eat any processed chocolate. Tocatrinos and seaweed, they go hand in hand, so either or you can add as number 5. And I'll explain a little bit what they are. Hemp seeds, hemp seed powder, or hemp seed butter, hemp seed oil, really a great form of protein. And they say the seed is better than the nut. It's easier to digest. And if you can't do well with seeds or nuts, and I know a lot of people have irritable bowel or colitis, I have a cousin who's allergic to sesame seeds, you can blend them or you can do without them. There's sunflower seeds, there's pumpkin seeds. There's also sprouts, sunflower sprouts, alfalfa sprouts, all different kinds of sprouted foods are wonderful as well, sprouted grains, barley sprouts. Then there's organic raw goji berries, organic raw coconut butter and coconut oil, love it, rich in vitamin E and antioxidants. I eat it, I wear it, great for your body, cuts, wounds, everything, as well as aloe vera. Another one I put in there. Use it topically for burns and thick bites, abrasions. You can blend it in fruit smoothies. I sliver it like a slice of salmon, cut the skin off, and then I just eat it and rub all the rest all over my face. For women, it's fabulous for wrinkles, and it's very powerful as a detoxifier. As Joy was talking about spring cleaning, if you want to clean your colon, organic live aloe vera, as well as that other food I absolutely love. Smells terrible, but tastes fabulous. Durian. Durian's great for the liver and a great detoxifier. Really aloe vera really soothes the intestines and the colon, and it could be used as a laxative instead of taking, laxatives and all those horrible chemicals people take to go to the bathroom, detox, water retention pills, all those things. I don't do any of that anymore. And I did, believe me, I took a lot of that. Compulsive exercising, laxatives, every diet, every cleanse, I did it all. From Atkins to starvation. And did I mention flax seeds? Flaxseed oil. Some people don't agree with it. I love it. They're a great source of omega-3s and 6 and all the essential fatty acids. And it promotes proper immune system development. It's good for muscle tone and smooth skin. It helps strengthen the circulatory system, and it contains lignans, which provide a natural source of antioxidant and phytoestrogens. And the flaxseed makes for a great flax cracker. When I first went raw, there was no flax cracker on the market. I had to buy a dehydrator and make my own. Now, if you go into stores like Irwan, Whole Foods, Mother's Markets, Maddie's Markets, all my favorite markets, Rainbow Acres here in California, you see shelves and shelves of crackers. You get so confused. It's like trying to pick, which gasoline you're going to buy. They're everywhere. Like Starbucks, they're on every corner. And the oil is great for salads too, or smoothies, dips, dressings, or even as a hair treatment. I put it in my hair. But be careful, ladies, if you do, or gentlemen, if you put it in your hair. You don't want to be going out to a wedding or anything because it has a little bit of an odor. So, make sure you put it in. Like, I let it stay overnight. I wear a shower cap, change my pillowcase, and the next day my hair's shining like the Tahitian women in Tahiti. They use coconut butter. I use flaxseed oil and coconut butter sometimes.
Now, when it comes to sweeteners, what do you recommend?
Well, that's a good question, too, because I love a sweet treat. And I use stevia powder. A lot of people will do organic raw agave nectar. It's the dark, they have the light. That's where tequila comes from. But what it is, it's an essential sweet flavor. It's about 10 to 30% on the glycemic scale, and it's slow in raising the blood sugar, so it's still safe for diabetics to use. It comes in a liquid formula. And a lot of people like that. There's a debate now in the raw food movement, whether it's raw or it's not. I don't get into the debating society. The road to success, Daniel, is always under construction. So be your own doctor, do your own research, and your body is your barometer. For me, like what works for me may not work for others out there, guys. So you try and see how you feel. Sometimes when I eat agave, I don't feel right. My body really tells me today because it's so clean. That food didn't work. Not good. No good, or just at least for today, because I live one day at a time. Tomorrow it may be okay, today it's not. And I try to do a teaspoon if I'm going to do it, but I really don't use it. But if it's in certain bars, like some of my favorite nutritional bars, raw bars, it's in a lot of, desserts. Or sometimes I'll find in raw restaurants they use raw honey. I'm not against it, but I don't use it, like I said, because I have a sugar problem. I was addicted to sugar. And one of the things I had to do, because it would set me off to compulsively overeat, I couldn't eat one brownie or one cookie. And that's another thing for people that have compulsive overeating issues or can't stop eating sugar, is raw food helped take away my cravings, because it wasn't an option. It wasn't in the plan. So if I wasn't eating it, what you don't eat, you don't crave. So it took away those cravings for the sugar, because what today doesn't have sugar, flour, and fat in it? Except I can think of chewing gum, maybe. I mean, everything usually has sugar and fat and some kind of flour. And if not the flour, at least the sugar and the fat. So it was an issue for me, and I find that I don't want to look at my issues and problems. I just want to overlook them. And so what I did to overlook them is continue to eat bad. And for me, raw food is fast food. And junk food is not fast food. It actually just takes your money faster and your health.
Or as Chun said in the movie Remo Williams, fast food is a fast way to the grave.
Yeah, exactly. They say the only thing we start at the top is digging our own grave. Everything else we have to start at the bottom. Take the steps going up and the elevator going down. And my little slogans in the book, in the back, I have 365 quotes for the day. I call them the banisters for the steps. They're really great. Like people who don't like to read so much or don't have time, like I used to take books with me to the grocery store, and in the grocery store going up and down the aisle, I'd read the little quotes of, when in doubt, leave it out, or better to do something imperfectly than nothing flawlessly. A workout is a wise use of time and an investment in excellence. A workout is a personal triumph over laziness and procrastination. Doing just a little will help a lot. Eating a raw food diet will allow you to fall so in love with yourself, you'll ask yourself out. I mean, just little things like this really help me sometimes through the day. Don't let a little dispute injure a great friendship. When you lose, don't lose the lesson. Just little things like this I'll remember, because I won't remember a whole book, but I'll remember a snippet or a bumper sticker slogan that'll get me through my day. the less you carry around, the longer you are around. We really are, I don't have to say this because everybody's saying it and they don't want to inundate America or anyone listening. We're an overweight country. We know that. We're eating too much, spending too much, shopping too much, cluttering too much. Speaking of spring cleaning, my girlfriend, Jane Bellis Mitchell, wrote a book on Addiction Nation and more, and I'm actually in her book, and she talks about overconsumption. And as I talk about in my book, overeating, overspending, over-exercise, overdoing anything. Can we live in the gray instead of the black and white? And when we do spring cleaning with our colon and with our diet and with our home, it's a way to make room for our true purpose to emerge, and clearing away the wreckage of the past with resentments, with clutter in physical state, clutter of the mind, clutter of the belly, like, having a brain full of knowledge and a belly full of food. What good is that? Cluttering resentments that we hold on to, is just cluttering gunk in the colon that's stuck to the walls because we ate so much flour and processed foods. I mean, it is spring cleaning in all areas of our lives. Mm-hmm. And having a strong support system, too, is really helpful with, to help self-nurture, like enough sleep, taking breaks, exercising, meditation, relaxation, and doing fun things. Life can actually be more fun, even if you're changing your food plan. I don't like to use the word diet. Or if you're starting an exercise regime, don't do what you don't love. I only do things I love. I hang out with people I enjoy. I participate in sports and activities and hobbies I love. And for me, I struggle with, I've got my cross to bear. Rest. I don't get enough rest. And they always say, when offered the best, what I really need is rest. Rest is the best reward I can give myself. If I don't have enough rest, usually I'm hungry and I crave sugar. My defenses go down and I can't think clearly. I'm not connected to my inner higher self. I'm not creative. I'm probably the grouch and the brainstorm walking around all day long. And then I'm not motivated. And I can't help others in my work of teaching skating, acting, or health education when I do lectures or speak, because if I can't help myself, how can I help others? I'm wind up hurting myself and hurting others. So I really believe rest is part of spring cleaning, too.
Now, I was going to say that you talk about the best way to hydrate the cells in your body. Now, this is something that a lot of people walk around today tend to be as underhydrated. They just don't have enough, I guess, liquid in their body. Tell us about that.
Yes, I have a chapter in there on water, too, and I usually don't like to answer the question on what kind of water do you drink? What's the best water? I don't know. I say drink water. I get that question all the time, like, how old are you, what do you eat for breakfast, and what kind of water do you drink? So I'm forever young, thank God. I'm like a good wine or cheese. As it gets older, it gets better, and age is just a limit we put on ourselves. So I don't put that limit. I sometimes don't remember, but back to the water. I think we should swim in it. I think we should drink as much of it. And fruits have a lot of water. Eat fruit, stay cute. It's one of my favorite sayings. It's actually on the front page of my book, I believe. Just drink water, and I try to drink it at room temperature, not cold. Everybody goes out and they saves water when they put ice cubes in there, and remember where the ice cubes are coming from too.
Right.
Probably the sink. So I drink my water at room temperature. I try to keep it in glass jars, and sometimes if I'm driving to Palm Springs, to get in the hot springs down there, and I've got a bottle of plastic water in my jar, I'm not going to not drink it because it's 110 down there. So I try not to be so rigid in my raw food lifestyle or in my life, period, because rigidity gave me nothing but problems. I have a chapter in my book on perfectionism, how it destroyed my life. And it's progress, not perfection. Live an uncut life and live an uncooked life or be cooked. So for water, try different waters. In California, my God, we have so much of a selection. Now we have stores open where you can go in and get whatever kind of alkaline number you want of water. You pay more for the better, the higher the alkaline content or lower. I'm not sure what it is.
Yeah, they certainly found a way to dupe the public, haven't they?
They certainly find a way to make money at everything, Daniel, and it's funny. People say, don't you sell a product? And I say, no, I don't. Well, are you going to make your own thing? Yes. If there's a product company out there, I have a lot of great ideas for a raw on the roll bar, some fabulous salad dressings, and some Sprite spirulina spreads. So, yes, I'm looking for an investor to make a product. But writing a book was hard enough, and running a skating school and taking care of my health, that's a full-time job. I don't have any kids, plants, pets, or bad relationships, so you would think it'd be easy. But like I said, just taking care of myself, exercising, getting enough rest, spending time doing creative things, finding the best water takes a lot of time, you know. So I just drink a lot of it. The only thing I drink is wheatgrass and water and tea.
I was going to mention something that I found interesting when you were talking about the water that people find in the stores, and now they're selling it at alkaline points. Now, my understanding a good few years ago, I was approached by a friend of mine who had one of these machines that filters water and that it, raises the alkaline level, and he was letting me know about how, higher water that's higher and, that's more acidic tends to be more of a breeding ground for potential of cancer and sickness. That the more alkaline the water is, the more you're going to deter the possibility of cancer and sickness. And I said, okay, so you want me to buy this machine that's a good few $1,000s to basically filter the water? I said, and to raise the alkaline level. And he says, yeah. And I said, well, I can get a lemon and do the same thing. And I've also now got a piece of fruit. And that's something the machine can't produce.
Exactly.
And I'm like, where did the common sense go?
Out the window. There you go.
They do that a lot in the South. They actually take lemon and they drink a lot of lemonade down in the South. They must know something that a lot of people don't.
Well, lemon is a cleanser. Every morning I used to drink hot water with lemon. And when I was with the ice shows, I was with professional ice shows for years, everybody would go out after the show and have coffee and onion rings and hamburgers. And I would have hot water with lemon because I didn't drink coffee or tea. I was trying to actually, that's a great way to kick caffeine, which is another thing I do not recommend is caffeine. I actually try to get people off cigarettes and caffeine and alcohol before meat because I believe those will kill us faster. But absolutely, if you don't feel like drinking water, I have a friend, he can't stand water. So I tell him, buy the water that has a little bit of fruit flavoring in it. It's not the best for you, but he's not having a margarita or a beer, and he's not having hot chocolate or a cup of latte, cappuccino, frappe, mousse, mocha choco, whatever, one of those. And remember, the higher the nutrients in the food, the less amount of food you need to eat, equaling weight loss and maintaining proper body weight. So if you eat foods that contain more water, you'll actually feel fuller faster and you won't overeat. And fruit and vegetables have a ton of water. Sometimes I drink instead of eat. Like if I'm emotional one day, because, I eat out of emotions a lot, I will drink and find out that I wasn't hungry at all. I was thirsty. Oranges, grapefruit, jicama, celery, great water foods, especially if you live in Florida or the South. You don't see them in the South on a hot day when they're picking corn or strawberries, eating bread, or hot chili. They're drinking water, they're eating oranges, grapefruits, strawberries, foods that retain and will replenish the water in the body because they don't have a chance to go out and get a drink when they're in the field. Right? So they're sucking on lemons and oranges. As figure skaters, right before our competition, they would give us oranges. We'd suck on oranges. And right today when my low blood sugar goes down, which is another thing I conquered in the raw diet, I used to have very bad hypoglycemia. I'd have to eat 6 times a day. Now, sometimes I can eat 2 times a day with a snack. Sometimes I don't need it at all. I find oranges, if I just eat an orange sometimes, that will get my blood sugar up and I'm satiated, energized, and my brain is functioning and I'm smiling again. Got that mile of a smile. Eat foods that make you happy, that make you smile. That's how they're right for you.
Now, Debbie, if you can, for our listeners, do you have a website people can find out more about the raw truth to the Fountain of Youth?
I absolutely do, and if some is good, more must be better, so I have 2 websites. I have skategreat.com. I'll spell it SKATEGREAT.com. That's skategreat.com. And the other one is theDebbieMerrillShow.com. That's when I had my own TV show, and so we kept the website. It's great. It's got a lot of little great pictures up there and stories. And I also have, if you go on YouTube, you can watch a lot of my videos from the show. And I'm on Facebook. and I always post when I'm doing raw events. But the other website is Debbie, Debbie, Merrill, Merrill, show.com. And you can email me at Debbie at DebbieMerrillShow.com. And I have an 800 number, too. It's 888-866-6121, 888-866-6121, or a number in California you can call. I always have my cell phone on. People always have questions. It's 310-625-0059. And the name of the book is The Raw Truth to the Fountain of Youth, Daniel, because I really believe that it gave me back my youth. You know, I've got my 18-year-old figure 8 back. I've got my health. I haven't been sick I haven't had a cold in 30 years. I can sleep better. I can think better. I've got my cravings for sugar, white flour, coffee, cigarettes, alcohol. Actually, 30 years it's been now since I've had a drink or a cigarette or sugar or white flour. March is my celebration. And 19 years I've been raw. On Thanksgiving Day, I gave up the bird, the booze, the bakery, and the bad boys, and I've never looked back. So if I can do it, you can do it. You know, there is a way. And do it with more we and less me. Don't do it alone. This is not the type of program you need to do alone. You want to get out there, get help, and ask questions. Listen to fabulous radio shows like this where people are really talking about health and fitness and all of the topics that are up in our life today. You know, and try not to plug into negativity. Everybody's calling me about Japan and Libya and everything that's going on, and I'm trying really not to watch a lot of TV because I had a dream about a tidal wave that I was in it the other day. You know, if my brain thinks it, then I ink it. So what I think about, I bring about. I'm trying to visualize and say affirmations. In my book, I have a ton of affirmations that I say, and I'm affirming it. By saying affirmations, I'm letting go of the negativity and saying the positivity, and then I'm attracting that into my life. And I wanted to mention one thing real quick. On the spirulina, in my book, I've got a fabulous Spritey spirulina spread, and I've got the Lean Keen Green Machine cocktail because I really love spirulina and chlorella. They are my key superfoods. They really help fight against, they're antioxidants. And in the one company I buy, they ocean chill dry it so it's raw, which dries the spirulina in 3 seconds in only 1% oxygen, and then they pack it in real glass. And it's very high in antioxidants and enzymes, and B12 if you're becoming a vegetarian or a vegan. So it's a fabulous food to start helping you transition. Spirulina, chlorella, barley grasses, camus, all of those sprouts. They have iron, they have calcium, beta-carotene, actually better than carrots, more protein than tofu. So this is a boyfriend for me. They're high in gamma-linolenic acid. I can only say that. It's a tongue twister. GLA, gamma-linolenic acid. And enzymes.
Again, the book is The Raw Truth to the Fountain of Youth. And Debbie Merrill with us here on the Beyond 50 radio program. Thank you for joining us.
Oh, thank you so much, Daniel. My love to you, my love to Joy. And everybody out there, if you don't believe in miracles, come and be one by eating more raw, because that's Mother Nature's law. And eat less, live more. And raw, not war, within the body. So if you want to go raw now, ask me how. I would love to help you. God bless you. Be less you. And please stay positive with our planet, with our health, and with your loved ones and yourself today.
Thank you very much, Debbie.
Thank you. God bless.
I want to thank the listeners out there also for joining us. Be sure to visit us at our website at beyond50radio.com. That is the number 50. Sign up for our free weekly e-newsletter. I'm Daniel Davis. Thanks again for joining us. And remember, live your day past halfway.